Alright, so working on a 2004 Honda Element. This is actually my personal vehicle, my shop car. Pretty much use this every day to run, get parts, and do other things in it. It's my main vehicle. Anyway, my wife slammed the door on it a couple days ago, and the window fell down into the door. Knew that couldn't be good, so I took the door panel off to see what's going on. Looks like the window regulator is broken on it. She didn't slam because we were arguing or anything. Anyway, just want to clarify, she's not a domestic abuser or anything like that. I mean, sometimes mentally abusive, but not physically. That's a joke too. Anyway, I'm going to show how to get the door panel off real quick, kind of aftermath, and kind of go from there. I know some people get mad I don't show everything step by step, and the reason why I don't is a lot of times all you're going to see is my arms or my back or something like that if I try to get the camera in there. Now on this, it's probably not true, but I wasn't planning on making a video. I just wanted to take it apart and see what's going on with it. And anyway, I found out what's going on with it, ordered the parts for it, and we'll get to it. So imagine the door panel was on there right now. You know, it's right here. You're going to have these two pieces. This one's going to go right here. Kind of goes back, kind of clips in right there. All you do is just take something, get behind it, pull it off. It's held in by this clip here. Then you have this longer one that goes up here, and it's the same deal. Just get behind it, pull it off. I pulled it off my fingers, and all it has is a few little clips that hold it in. That'll allow you to pull the door panel up. But before you do that, you're going to want to take this off. There's a little plastic cover that goes over these screws. Just take a little pick, get behind there, pull those off. There's two Phillips head screws behind here. Go ahead and remove those, and then you're going to see this clip here that holds the rod on for the door, and this little purple clip goes over the rod. Just pull this clip away from the rod and then pull the rod out of the hole. So that's how this comes off. And then you have on the door panel, right underneath the door handle, you'll see this slot here. Take a pick, open this up. There's a Phillips screw behind there. Take that out, and then all you're going to have left is your speaker hole right here. And what that is this little cover here. Just pull that off, get behind it, pull it off. It just snaps in and snaps out. And then you have three screws going into the speaker, Phillips screws. Pull those off, and then the door panel should come off. You also have your door lock switch. Or no, this is the window switch. That goes on top of the door panel right here. Goes in right here. Just pull that out, take a pick or whatever you have. You get underneath the end of it here and just pull it up. And then you have one electrical connector right here. Just pull on or push in on both sides, and it'll pull out. So then you'll get down to this. You'll pull the door panel off. You probably do it mostly by hand or with a screwdriver. You know, I got a upholstery tool I use just to get behind there and pop it off. Once you get it started, usually you can just pull it off by hand. Just go slow. And then you'll get down to this here, and this will be up over like this. Pull this off, and then you're down to the window regulator. And I believe the window regulator has these two here, and these three here. So I don't know if I've ever done a window regulator. I know I've changed the doors on these cars before, but I don't know if I've ever took the regulator out. So we'll kind of learn together on this a little bit. So I'm gonna take a look at what I have to do, and then I'll get you up to speed with it once I figure out what I need to do. But I'm pretty sure it's just these 4 bolts here, and then you have 3 bolts on the motor, and then you're gonna have to pull this window up to about right here where these 2 holes are at, and that's what holds the window onto the regulator. That looks like 2 10mm bolts. So anyway, I'm going to go about taking it apart, and then I'll catch you up on it once I Alright, so the first thing I'm going to elect to do is take this window out of the way just so I don't have to worry about it being in the way. So what you're going to do is just kind of, if you're able to, since mine's broke, it just moves right up. And you want to get it where it's lined up with these two holes in the door here. And we're going to go ahead and take those off. Those are 10 mil. That should be all that's holding the window to the regulator. I'm going to go ahead and take them completely out because I got a new window regulator coming, so I'm not trying to preserve anything here. This has to all come out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this window all the way up, and we're going to get it up all the way, and then I'm probably going to stick something in here to kind of hold the window out of the way until we get this regulator out. So I'm going to go get something to kind of jam in here. You could use tape or whatever. I found usually tape won't hold it, but block of wood or something right here, and just kind of jam it up in there to hold it up for a few, for a few minutes. So I'm going to go get something there, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so all I did after I got those two bolts off was pull the window all the way up, and I just stuffed this fender protector, towel, whatever you want to call it, down in here to put pressure against the window. It's soft, it's not going to hurt the window. You could use wood, but I didn't have any wood that would fit down in there. It was thin enough. So I just took this fender protector, shoved it down there. It's going to keep the window up good enough to go ahead and start taking these regulators out. So the next thing I'll probably do is we'll just go ahead and pull the electrical connector out. And then this is held in by a little clip. I'm going to get my little upholstery tool and get behind there, or my cat claw, and get that loose for you guys, or so we can get this electrical done. It should only be just this one, and all you do is just push in right here on the bottom of this, and it releases it. And then we have looks like the wire goes around to the motor, so we'll pull this out. All you're going to do is compress these two, and we'll get a cat claw behind here and pull that off, and then we'll start taking these out. And I'm assuming that it probably comes out this hole here. Like I said, I've done a lot of regulators in my life. I don't know if I've done one on a Honda Element, but they're all pretty much the same. So we may have to move. We'll probably have to take this off and move this wire down, but anyway, we'll go through it as we go through it, and we'll see what we have to do here. Alright, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it goes through here. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this loose, get a cat claw, get behind it, or whatever you have, and they should pop out fairly easily. And then these just kind of press them together. Should be able to do almost by hand or with the Phillips, or not a Phillips, but a needle nose. Now we're going to get into here. I'm going to take these 4 off and these 3 off, and this should come out, I would think. I hope. Well, the regulator itself just kind of fell down in here. It's got a bunch of goo on it. Lost my socket. Now these you probably don't take all the way off. There's a bigger hole, so just get them loose. Should pop up, I would think. Hand in there. Alright, now let's just get this thing out of here. the actual motor is still good. This is where it broke, obviously. But this actual motor is still good. So I don't know. O'Reilly's didn't list the motor by itself. It only had the motor and the regulator. It was only $60-something, so I just went and got the whole thing. But all it really is, unless I guess this regulator is part of this motor. That's why they don't sell it. Yeah. So this is all one piece. This regulator is all part of this motor, so that's why they don't sell it separate. So that's interesting. So anyway, I got the new one. I'm going to go ahead and transfer these bolts over to the new motor, and then we'll start sliding that in once I get it set up. So here's the new motor. You can see here the springs are still in there and it's attached. I went ahead and started those 3 bolts in the back. That way I can mount it in there. And again, here's the old one. And you can see the springs have popped out of the regulator. And that's why we had nothing going on when we hit the button. You could hear the motor running, but you couldn't hear, you know, the window wouldn't go up and down. So this is actually a really easy one compared to some. Gotta admit, it's pretty easy. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and slide this all back in that hole and mount it up. I don't know how much you'll be able to see with my big head in the way, but I'll keep the camera. Alright, so after you put the motor and the regulator back through this hole, line these up. You line up your 4 regulator, and then I took my towel out of the window here, and from the factory, I guess when they do these, they orient this this part here about where it's supposed to line up on here. If it wasn't oriented right, say you got, you know, one and it wasn't oriented right, just hook up your power to your switch and plug your motor in and just bring it back where it needs to be. And then those 2 bolts are in there. And right now I just got everything kind of set in place. There's not really any adjustments to make or anything. So we're just going to go ahead and tighten it all down. The bottom of your window just comes down, since I can't really show you inside the door. The bottom of the window just kind of like this actually. The bottom of the window actually comes down and sits on these 2 ledges, and it lines up perfectly with these bolts right here, these holes. And you just run the bolts through these holes into the window, the back of the window bracket, and tighten it up. So that's all there is to this. And like I said, if this isn't in the right position, you won't be able to go like this if you're, you know, if it's a new one, because it's not going to be broke. So like I said, just plug your switch back in, turn your key on, and move it to where it needs to be. Now mine came at the right spot out of the box, so I don't know if they do that on purpose or just got lucky or what. But sometimes, a lot of times it's not like that. You have to plug it in, line it up. So I'm going to go ahead and just tighten these up. I just dropped my socket. Always something. Make sure they're tight. Like I said, I don't see any kind of adjustment on these, so let's get them all started and tighten them up. Everything's tight, everything's bad together. The only thing left now is put door panel back on. But what I'm going to do is hook up the switch, turn the key on, and make sure everything's working before I put everything back together. It might be a good idea to put this back where it belongs, just so it doesn't get hung up with the window. Just push it back in, and plug your motor in, and then I'm just gonna, like I said, turn the key on and we'll operate and make sure everything's good on it, which it should be. It's not like I had a broken window, I gotta clean out glass or anything, just a broken regulator. So I gotta get the key actually, so I'll be back and then alright, so I got the key on. I just plugged my switch back in real quick. Going down, up. Everything's good. So we're all good to go. If you might have heard kind of a weird noise, it's just my tin on my window coming off. Yeah, I don't really care, so whatever. So now we're just going to put this plastic back up. And maybe get a little bit of tape or something, just kind of tape it up. Get that. My dog's messing with the camera tripod. So anyway, we'll just tape that up maybe a little bit, and then we'll put this door panel back on. Sorry. So I pulled those two out of the door, and all you do is just push them into the slot here like that, and then they go right back in. So we're just going to set this back in and start putting it back together. Live on TV. Make sure you get this thing in there. Your door lock lever. And all you're going to do is just kind of set it up into this window channel up here, and then you're going to go through and make sure that everything is pulled where it's supposed to be. Get it kind of lined up. I won't push the door back in until I got everything lined up. So I'm going to go through and line everything up, and then we'll start putting everything back together. Alright, so I got it pretty much lined up. You got your door lock handle through the hole here. This is up over the rail. It might help you to roll your window down just to help it get up over it. And I actually did that. That's why this is hooked up. So I got the switch hooked back up. I'm just going to pop this in because this has no relation to anything really. So next thing I'll do, make sure your wires are through for your speaker, through the hole. And I haven't pushed anything in yet. I'm just kind of going through, making sure everything's lined up. Next thing I'll do is this door handle here. So I'm going to grab that, and we're just going to slide this rod through this hole. Hey, push it down, and then we're going to rotate that clip over until it goes over the rod and snaps in, which it just did. Then you're going to just kind of put this in where it belongs. And we got 2 screws to go in here. 2 little Phillips. And as long as that plastic piece behind there, as long as you line that up right, they should go right in. And as long as your door is where it's supposed to be, that's why it's kind of important to make sure the door panel is lined up and where it's supposed to be before you start pushing everything back in. So we got these two too tight. You got your big Phillips that goes underneath the door handle here. We'll put this in real quick. Alright. Now you can go ahead and just kind of pop everything back in. So all we got left now is a speaker. Plug it in before you. It's like rush hour every time I try to turn the camera on. so make sure you plug the speaker in before you install it. So we got the 3 screws for that. This just pops back on, and you have your 2 pieces that just pop back on. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video out. The street seems like it's just popping with people and tractors and trucks. I'm doing this outside today. There's another truck. I'm doing this outside today because it's just a quick job. It's pretty easy, straightforward. So anyway, that's a window motor and regulator on a 2004 Element. It should be the same for all the Elements. Pretty easy job. Really no reason to take it to a shop unless you're just not mechanically inclined. But this is what goes into it. Should be less than an hour easily to do this. And then you should have your window back after that. So that's pretty much it on this video. Hope to see you on the next one. Have a good day, and as always, may God bless.